On Wednesday, His Royal Highness the Duke of Gloucester opened the first post-war motor show at Earls Court, with congratulations to the industry on its magnificent achievement of £100 million worth of cars exported since the war ended. Here to give his impressions of the show is the well-known motoring authority, Alan Hess.
The crowd arrived early, as His Royal Highness found during his tour of inspection, on which he was piloted round by Mr. Fred Connolly, this year's president of the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders. But now, let's leave the official party and take a look round on our own. Of course, we must begin with this one, a symphony in black and white, and incidentally, one of the most expensive cars in the show. And turning from costliness, here's one of the cheapest cars in the exhibition, the 1948 edition of an old friend long familiar on our roads. But this is one instance where familiarity breeds anything but contempt. And here's something to goggle at, a brand new model announced only on the eve of the opening of the show. Here we see modern lines blended with sturdy performance at very low cost. And, a point for the ladies this, Sylvia Peters shows the ease with which women may get in and out of the new cars. On this revolving turntable is the new car designed essentially as a dollar earner by the company which first broke into the American market in a big way. And now, the biggest car in the show. The biggest? Yes, and by way of contrast, here's the smallest, a little French car housing a motorcycle-type engine. While this compatriot of the smallest car shows what can be done in the way of streamlining by the cunning use of plastics. The Motor Industry Research Association's exhibit gives you an insight into the kind of development tests to which British car manufacturers submit their new chassis designs. Here, for a change, is a utility body on a well-known chassis. Note how neatly the seats fold away when you want to use the interior for freight. And still more people come to swell the crowds. Oh, here's another novelty. It's a car for legless drivers. There are no pedals, all the controls being grouped conveniently for manual operation. Many disabled ex-servicemen and women and civilians will find such a design a boon. It will open up a new way of life to them, enabling them to get about again, not only for pleasure, but for business too. Now let's see what's going on here. Ah, now isn't that handy? This is luxury indeed. And for all weather motoring, in the sort of winters we usually enjoy in Britain, I did say enjoy, didn't I? It's really a strictly practical idea too. And not only saloons, but sports cars as well are exquisitely equipped these days. Yes, exquisitely equipped. It's a pretty compliment to Britain that French and American manufacturers have gone to the trouble and expense of sending over their cars to our exhibition. Now here's a typical American car with its wide, purposeful front and its long, gracefully sweeping body lines. It's the new look in cars, and some of the British manufacturers have gone far towards emulating it. Take this one, for example. Comfortable driving position is a sine qua non of the 1948 car, and good looks. And of course, ample luggage room for the driver and at least 3 passengers. That was a typical British family car, the kind of thing for the everyday motorist, but here's something rather different. One of the surprises of the show, a new British super speed car for which the makers claim 120 miles an hour. Of course, it's got a radio set. How do you like it, Miss Peters? And here's Britain's, indeed the world's, fastest production model, a fitting note on which to close our brief tour of this year's motor show.